Hello class. So we are going to start with the second topic of Industrial Disputes Act, which is retrenchment. Now what is retrenchment? In simple words, like we did in case of layoff, layoff was unemployment of the worker which was temporary for the time being because of some reasons beyond your control, like the breakdown of the machinery or accumulation of stock, etc. You were not temporarily in a position to give him work. But retrenchment is when you don't have work for the worker permanently. There's a permanent shift in the organization of that nature that you cannot retain your worker permanently now, and you want to terminate their services. So this permanent termination of the services of the worker is said to be a retrenchment. And retrenchment is defined under section 200, which says termination by the employer of the service of workman for any reason except the reasons mentioned below. That means in case you terminate the employment of the worker for any reasons, but reason should not be the next mentioned reasons, 5 reasons. First, the worker is not going off the work because he is retiring voluntarily. That means voluntary retirement will not be a case of retrenchment. Similarly, the worker might have retired because he reached the retirement age, because he reached the age of superannuation, or thirdly, he was given employment for a fixed period, for a specified period, and after the expiry of that term period of his employment, his contract of employment was not renewed, and that is why his services are being terminated. Or fourthly, he was into continued ill health, and that is why he was asked to leave the organization. This is also not the case of retrenchment. And lastly, when a worker was dismissed because of any disciplinary action against him. So that means in case a termination takes place because of any of these 5 reasons, this is not said to be a retrenchment. Any other reason of discharge of the worker will be called as retrenchment. Like for example, uh, you were a landline phone making factory, and there was a sudden shift of landline phones into mobile uses, and the people are not buying landline phones, as many landline phones as they were buying earlier. So now their production has to be reduced because demand is not there. So because of that, there will be a permanent shift in the demand. So there's a requirement of permanent reduction of the production of such phones. So because of that, workers will have to be retrenched permanently because there's no work for them for a longer period and for future period at all. So that may be one of the reasons, examples for retrenchment. Now, what are the provisions of retrenchment? So, like we discussed earlier, in case of your layoff, in this case also the provisions are covered under 2 categories: Chapter 5A, 50 or more but less than 100 workers, and Chapter 5B, 100 or more than 100 workers. So, first, provisions for Chapter 5A establishments. For Chapter 5A establishments, the provisions are, first of all, uh, whenever you have to you have to retrench any workers, you can retrench those workers even without any the provision for this will be you have to apply for the retrenchment in this case, but no such requirement of application is there in case you have less than 50 workers on an average in the last uh, preceding calendar month, or secondly, if your factory or your establishment was of a seasonal character in which the work was done only intermittently. Intermittently means continuous work is not there. In between, you work for 1 month, 2 months, then you halt, then you again start. So it's not a continuous production; it is a intermittent production, or you are a seasonal character of a industry. So in these cases, the section 25C to section 25E will not be applicable, which we'll do further. Second is, to understand the provision, we need to understand once again the same definition of continuous service. So it is a repetition, exactly the same definition of the continuous service that working for 240 days minimum in the last 12 calendar months, or 190 days in case of a mine, etc. So this I will not repeat, we have discussed it already. And for counting of number of days, which number of days, non-working days are to be included, etc. So now coming to the provisions. First is, in case you want to go for the retrenchment of workers of Chapter 5A establishments, you have to fulfill these conditions. And without fulfilling these conditions, you cannot retrench any worker who has been in continuous service for not less than 1 year. That means a worker who had worked for at least 1 year continuous service, he cannot be retrenched. And in case you want to retrench that worker, you have to fulfill the conditions coming next. First is, you have to give a 1 month's notice in writing to the worker that you are going to be retrenched, and you also have to state the reasons for retrenchment, why it is not possible for you to retain him anymore. So you have to mention that in the notice. So either you will give a 1 month's notice, or if you don't want to give a 1 month's notice and you want to retrench him immediately, then you have to give him wages for that notice period of 1 month. Second condition is retrenchment compensation. The amount of retrenchment compensation, when that worker is going on retrenchment, he has to be given a compensation for the same, because he is not at fault. You are retrenching him. So he must be given a compensation as per the act, which is a 15 days. You have to give him compensation equivalent to 15 days average pay for every complete year of continuous service. Or if it was a part, that means if it was not 1 year complete year, or it was more than 6 months period, that will also be counted as one. So now retrenchment compensation, how it is calculated will be discussed towards the end of this topic. For the timing, provision says that you have to give 15 days average pay for every complete year of continuous service if you want to retrench a worker. Third condition is, simultaneously you also are supposed to give a notice to the appropriate government that you are going to retrench these many workers. Now conditions are fulfilled, you can retrench the workers, but for retrenching these workers, what principles or what procedure has to be followed? So for that, you have to follow the principle of LIFO, last in, first out. That means when you have to retrench a few number of workers, then you have to choose as to which of the workers available will be retrenched first. So in that case, the latest joinee will be retrenched first. That means the older one, the older employees will not be retrenched first. The latest additions, the latest joinees will be retrenched first, because it is always good for us to have experienced workers remaining with us, working with us. But in this case, there are certain points to be noted. That is, last in first out principle is not a universal principle that you are required to follow it everywhere blindly. There can be some situations where you can violate or you can depart from this principle. First, if there was some agreement to the contrary, if in the agreement or the contract of employment of the workers some contrary term was mentioned, some opposite term was mentioned, then you may depart from this principle. Or you may depart from this principle if you have some justified reasons. That means you don't want to retrench the latest employee, you want to retrench an older one. So you must be having a justified reason for choosing an older one and not a newer one. Secondly, uh, whenever management is departing from this rule, they might be doing it because they wanted to retain a worker who was having some special skills, some special qualifications, which the older one is not having. So in the best interest of the business, it was better that we retain the newer one. So in this case, management is acting bona fide. They are acting in good faith and they are acting in the interest of the organization. So in this case, if for some other reason you depart from this rule and you don't have any justified reason for this departure, then the retrenchment done will be said to be mala fide retrenchment, or it will be called as unfair labor practice. So you just have understood this topic, unfair labor practice, in yesterday's lecture. So it will be said to be an unfair labor practice, and therefore the workers who will be retrenched this way, they will be entitled for reinstatement. They will be given job back. Next is post retrenchment. Sometimes it so happens that you again have demand coming up. You want to restart the production, or you want to increase your production once again. And for that, you need to recruit new workers. So, in case you want to recruit new workers, then while recruiting the new workers, you have to give an opportunity to the retrenched workers first. So those retrenched workers will be given preference over the other persons. So they shall be intimated that there's a work coming up. If you are interested, you can be re-employed. So, but for this case, you have to fulfill these conditions. First, he was retrenched and he was not dismissed or discharged or superannuated. He was retrenched. Secondly, he was a Indian citizen. He was an Indian citizen. Thirdly, he was given a notice by the employer for re-employment, and after that notice, he has offered himself that yes, I'm interested to get re-employed. And thirdly, he should have been retrenched from the same category of job because he was having experience in that category. That is why he was being offered a re-employment. So these are the provisions of Chapter 5A establishments regarding retrenchment. Moving on to the second part, that is Chapter 5B establishments. For Chapter 5B establishments, once again, as we have done earlier, means those establishments where the number of workers are 100 or more than 100. Now, in that case also, before going for retrenchment, you have to undergo fulfillment of these conditions. First condition is that you have to give a 3 months notice, and that 3 months notice, in the earlier case it was 1 month's notice. Now the notice will be 3 months notice, and rest of the provisions are same, that you have to indicate reasons. You have to retrench. You cannot retrench before the expiry of the 3 months notice period. And thirdly, if you want to retrench that worker immediately without 3 months notice, you can do so, but you have to give wages for the period of notice in that case. Additionally, in Chapter 5B, another condition is also required, that you have to seek prior permission of the appropriate government also on an application made by the employer in this behalf. Now, in this case, in the earlier case, we were required to give only 1 month's notice, and you were required to only give a notice and only an intimation to appropriate government that you were going for retrenchment. Now, here in this case, it is not intimation, it is permission, that whether we can go for retrenchment of workers or not. Now, regarding this application for permission, provisions are similar to layoff. That application has to be stated in prescribed manner. You have to mention the reasons for intended retrenchment, and you have to file a copy of the same application with the worker also simultaneously. Then the rest of the provisions are also a repetition, that appropriate government will get your application, then they will consider your application, and then they will decide whether they want to grant you permission or they want to refuse you permission. So they will give you inquiry and opportunity of being heard. They will listen to both the parties, employer and workers. They will consider the genuineness of the reasons of the retrenchment. Is it a genuine reasons to allow retrenchment or not? They will consider all that, and then they will decide granting or refusal, and they will communicate you the order. So in case they do not communicate any order, whether they are granting or refusing retrenchment, then after expiry of 60 days from the filing of application, it will be deemed as a permission only. You will presume that permission has been granted and you can retrench your workers. Next, this order of retrenchment, once given, will be binding for a period of 1 year. But in case order is not in your favor, you were refused the granting of retrenchment, in that case you can also apply for review of the order. The review can be done by the employer. Review can be requested by the worker also. So this review will be done, and then the application of review will be referred to the tribunal. Now the tribunal will have to pass a judgment for the same, whether this order should be reviewed or not. And they will pass a judgment which is called award within a period of 30 days from the date of reference of this application. Next is illegality of retrenchment. So in case no permission was granted for retrenchment, or the retrenchment was done without any application filing, then such retrenchment will be said to be illegal. And illegal retrenchment means that the workers will have to be reinstated because it was a wrongful retrenchment violating the rules of Industrial Disputes Act. And all these provisions will not be applicable. The provision of choosing the worker after seeking permission from government or without giving 3 months notice, you have to fulfill that. But in certain cases, these provisions will not be applicable in case there are some exceptional circumstances like some accident in the factory or some kind of death of employer or some other situations are there. So because of that, if retrenchment is going on, then you need not fulfill those provisions given under subsection 1 above. Next is retrenchment compensation. So I earlier discussed that a 15 days average pay for every complete year of continuous service has to be given for the retrenchment compensation. Now let us see how this compensation will be calculated. I have taken one example. For example, there's a worker who was getting a monthly salary of 10,000 rupees, and he completed 5 years of service in his job, and then now he was being retrenched. Now how much compensation he can get? So as we have done that, compensation is 15 days wages for every single year. That means for every 1 year, half a month salary. So half of 10,000 becomes 5,000. Number of complete years, 5 years. So 5,000 multiplied by 5. 25,000 will be given to him as a retrenchment compensation. And lastly, in case any kind of retrenchment or layoff is done without seeking permission, as we discussed earlier, then they, in addition to reinstatement of the worker because of violation of the provisions, the employer will also be punished with imprisonment for a period which may extend to 1 month, or with a fine, rupees 1,000, or with both. So these are the provisions of retrenchment in detail. And further, we are left with the distinctions: lockout and retrenchment, layoff and retrenchment, closure or retrenchment, etc. So these differences I'm leaving on you. You have to go through them and ask me if any problem is there. There's one more topic of closure. So layoff, retrenchment, and closure. Closure means permanently closing down of the business. So in that case also there are similar provisions. You just go through those provisions in your book and ask me questions on the same.